Hello, my name's Duncan, and welcome to Back Away from the Donkey and Bath Books. Today's a tag. I'm catching up on some tags. There might be a couple more this week, actually, just to sort of. I have a backlog of them. I was tagged by Michael. Michael Romeo Talks Books, and this is a tag that was originally done by Rainer Reads, and it's 10 books that you've had on your shelves for more than a year that you should read. Well, I've got books that I've had for 30 years that I've not read. But anyway, I went through it and I picked 10 that I am aiming to read probably in the next year. And that's my hope. That's the sort of way I went to when I went through the shelves. But I'm not guaranteeing anything. So I have 10 books. I'm for a bit, sort of a vague variety, but there's probably more science fiction than anything else as you would expect. So I will start with James N. Cain, Double Indemnity, and this is actually quite a thin book, so I don't know why I've not done it. These are these really nice crime masterworks that came out about 2000. I've got about 3 or 4 of these. I've got a Sherlock Holmes one, I've got a couple of Ed McBain ones, and I think they did about 20 of them. I just quite like the layout of them. But this book is 1936 originally, I think, and it's one of these evil woman motivated. Double Indemnity is a classic tale of an evil woman motivated by greed who corrupts a weak man motivated by lust. And it's one of these sort of stories. One of the ones that they made into weird films, probably. It probably has been made into a film. I've got no idea. Don't know much about the writer, but I know it just sort of appealed to me. And it's one that it's only got 130 pages. I might have to read it this month. Hold me to this. I'm going to read this month. Okay? Because it's 130 pages. It'll take me a day at most. So yes, that was number 10. Number 9. This one is a wee bit of a cheat. It's Canterbury Tales. And I've not read the whole thing. I've read bits of it. When I was doing some stuff for university and doing some stuff on creative writing, we studied passages and certain sections of the Canterbury Tales, but I never read the whole thing, and I need to read the whole thing. These are really nice Oxford editions. I prefer Oxford editions, especially these newer Oxford editions, over the Penguin Classics, I must admit. Just the whole look and feel of them. Al from Big Al does books you complains that they always fall apart, but I've never had that issue. Anyway, yes, Canterbury Tales. One day I'll read the whole thing. I might have to just stop making a name for next year or something. Anyway, book number 3. Greenbow, George Mackay Brown. He is a famous, around here, a famous Orcadian poet, writer. So big in Scotland, known well in Scotland. And this is Greenbow, which is obviously based in a small community on one of the Orkney Islands. It's meant to be it's a fictional island, and it is meant to be the book that almost inspired. What's the film called? Damn, the one with the Martin Knopfler soundtrack. The sort of Scottish village looking for oil, and they find oil but that's over the west coast. Oh, I can't remember it. Somebody tell me in the comments, or if not, I'll put a little thing below the bottom here telling you what it is. But this is meant to be the book that vaguely inspired this, and I've always wanted to read it. I keep meaning to read some George Mackay Brown, but I never do. He lives in Stromness, which is across the way, which is where I used to live. I've got about 3 or 4 of his books I picked up locally, but one day I will get around to read some of his stuff. I should support my local authors, even when they are no longer with us. Okay, so next we have book 4, Bit of Fancy. Bit of Fancy. Robert Holdstock. Robert Holdstock, I think, is sometimes forgotten for some reason. You know, Faker Wood is just stunning and it's a classic, but this is ones he wrote about 2000. He sadly died about 2004, I think. And this is Celtica. It's the first of 3. I think it's a trilogy, and it's a mixture of Greek myths along with King Arthur and Merlin, and it just sounded very interesting. And I like Holstock's writing. I found this book a few years back, so yeah, it's one I should get to at some point. It's another one I've had. So we're on number 5, aren't we? So this is Philip K. Dick is Dead, Alas, by Michael Bishop. I read some Michael Bishop short stories. Have I read any of his novels? Nope. This is part of my collection of books that have got Philip K. Dick in or mention him that aren't written by him. I think I've got a few of these sort of things, and I know nothing about this story at all. What's it saying in the back? Philip K. Dick died on February 1982, but not the 1982 of most history books. In this 1982, America has won the Vietnam War, colonized the moon, and re-elected Richard Nixon 4 times. Dick is remembered for his early realist novels, while his bitingly satirical sci-fi circulates illegally in Samizdat form. But if Philip K. Dick is really dead, who is the bearded amnesiac who wanders into the Georgia office, the unsuccessful psychotherapist? The ghost of Philip K. Dick? God, this sounds really intriguing now. Why have I not read this so far? It's taken some clues from The Man in the High Castle as well. So yes, Philip K. Dick is Dead, Alas. Dom. That might be another one I might have to leak my list. I suppose that's what this is to do, make you think about the books that you've been avoiding. Then, this one's a famous one, but apparently it was very difficult to get hold of. My friend gave me this a couple of years back. And this is After Such Knowledge, which is from James Blish, which is a collection of his Mirrorless, Black Easter, The Day After Judgment, and The Case of Conscience, which is the most famous one. And to have them in this edition, apparently it's quite rare, from what I've heard. And for some reason I've never read A Case of Conscience, and I said it's got that and all the other ones, all these ones, and I need to read it. When is this one published? This edition. But yeah, apparently having it in this collected edition is... I can't find the page. Where's the page with the dates on them? I'll give up in a second. Yes, I know Blish died. I don't know. Can't find it. My brain's gone. Okay, so we got to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, I've got to be careful because I'm right. Okay. Number 8 is actually more than one book. I've got to think about Buck Rogers. I like Buck Rogers as a character. I adore the really dodgy, cheesy TV series from the late 70s, early 80s, because I was at the age that I watched that. But all the original Buster Crabbe serials I love, and the original stories. I've got these weirdly in the mid 80s, early 90s. TSR, Tactical Studies, whatever it means. The people who created and owned Dungeons and Dragons before Wizards of the Coast took over the original company, they somehow got hold of owning the rights to Buck Rogers. And they did there was a Buck Rogers game, and there's a section of books, and I've got 3 of them. There's more. And I need to get around to these. This one is a collection of story called Arrival, which has got 3 stories by M.S. Murdoch. There's a Robert Sheckley one in there, and there's a... Don't know what it is, about 3 or 4 stories in there. So yes, Arrival's the first book. Then I've got some of the other ones, which I don't know what orders are. This is volume 1 here, Power Play by John Miller, which I do love the cover. I still think Buck Rogers is a very underused character. And then I've got, by M.S. Murdoch, Hammer of Mars, and that's book 2. So I need to find out how many is in the whole of the series of this and start going through them. But yeah, I do have a thing about Buck Rogers, and I think Buck Rogers is a very underused character in science fiction and should be used more. So yeah, that was my number 1, 2. Sorry, I can't remember what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was 7. So my number 8 one is a hard science fiction writer that everybody talks about that I've never read. Well, not knowingly read. There's a chance I may have read a short story somewhere. But that's Alistair Reynolds, and this is Century Rain. And I've had that for a couple of years, and I picked this up on purpose because I knew it was a one-off and wasn't part of one of his big series. Because I thought, if I'm going to dip into him, I need to, because I know he writes big, big books. And actually, if you look at the font there, the font is 8 or 6 point or something stupid. And these are these weird extra ones, Galans, a bunch of black ones. I've got Ringworld in one of these editions as well. Okay, and then my next one, number 9, represents a series of books. Ben Bova. This is Privateers, which I'm not sure is the first book or not, of the Grand Tour books, which I think is 13 books, or there could be more. There's Mars, there's one for each of the planets, and Moonrise and things. So I keep meaning to read Bova's. You can read them separately. You can read all of his Grand Tour books separately, but they all interrelate. And there's various orders you can read them. I want to read them in publication order because that's the way I like to read books. And this Privateers, which is actually quite a nice copy here. I heard rumours that there's going to be a sort of read-along, people dipping into it next year. But so I don't know whether that's still going to be happening or not, because if it is, I'd probably quite like to join along with that. I was told by the wonderful Sean Standfast, who I wish well again. Hopefully he's doing well, and I think he was going to do something to do it, but because he's so ill at the moment, I don't know what's going on, which reminds me I need to contact Sean and just say hi and say hello. So yes, that's number 9. So number 10, this is not a reading book. This is, when did I buy this? A couple of years back as well. Knights of Pendragon. I like Captain Britain as a character, and this is the Knights of Pendragon, full collection of the works, and it's got Captain Britain in there. I've never read it, and I keep meaning to read it, and it probably won't take me long to get through it, but I need to skip on. Because I've got a load of Captain Britain stuff. I want to do some videos on it at some point, but I won't. So yeah, this is one of his, sort of the offshoots of it. I was going to see what other art is in here. That's a really good cover, that, actually. Can you see that? But yeah, Knights of Pendragon was 1, 2, 8 things. And yeah, apparently it was a very good series, but I never read it. So yeah, so that was the final one of my collection of 10. I've got loads more that I've not read. Some decades old, and I don't know. But there's a couple that I really might. The Philip K. Dick is Dead sounds really intriguing now. And the Double Indemnity is so bloody short, I should read that anyway. But yeah, I'll leave you for the moment. That's me done for them. Well, there should be some more videos out this week, and I will speak to you all very soon. And I said thanks to Michael for tagging me. I have no idea who's done this tag or not, because I've not been around for a while. So I don't want to start tagging people if they've already been double tagged in this. So I would just say that if you've not done it, do it. It's quite interesting. That's if you. And also, I'm interested in the people who don't really buy physical books. Books they've got in their ebook libraries that they've just had hanging around. Because actually, if I dipped into mine, I've got some of those that have been hanging around quite a long time as well. Anyway, I will speak to you all very soon, and bye for now. And is that storm still raging outside? If you saw the video I did before this, there is a big storm going on outside, which is great as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.